Hello and welcome to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich and I'm here with my daughter Nina Zoe Rich. And our guest today is Rhiannon Tracey, and she was a quadriplegic and still is, but she's incomplete and able to walk with crutches through diving into a swimming pool at the shallow end. She'll tell you her story. We'll just recap because we were on again last week. So welcome back to the program again, Rhiannon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Can you just recap your story a little bit just for the new viewers if they haven't caught the last episode?
Sure. So on the 18th of September of 2009, I dove into what was actually meant to be the deep end of the swimming pool. So I hit my head at the bottom and instantly became a quadriplegic. So it'll be 6 years this year, and I've done a lot of recovery, I suppose, towards getting to where I am today.
Yeah. And we talked last episode about a lot of the, like, just continually trying to strengthen muscles by 24/7. All your waking hours, you're contracting muscles pretty much, weren't you? Trying to bring them back to life.
Just trying to kind of reconnect my entire body.
And reading about it and watching films about it. And it became like a task, like you said, like an athlete conquers what they have to do by just thinking about it, breathing it, living it, sort of. That was it, wasn't it? Yeah. Can you tell us, and since this you've got involved in a few things, also the Wings for Life run, which was televised on TV, some of it, and it was like on the news, and that was something that was happening all over the world to raise awareness. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So it was actually something that I was really, really proud to be asked to be a part of this year. I was an ambassador for the Wings for Life World Run. So I was one of the Australian ambassadors alongside a few other amazing people. So it is a world-renowned world run, obviously, and it is raising money for spinal cord injury research. So it's the only race in the world that happens at the exact same time worldwide, which is incredible. So the Melbourne leg of the run began at 9 p.m. So we ran right through the night. So it's also the only race in the world where the finish line catches you. So a half an hour after the race commences, a catcher car is released and the race is over for you when that catcher car overtakes you. So it's fun as well.
So you got to always beat the car.
That's it, yeah. So you set your own personal goal of how far you want to go in the run, and my goal was 5 kilometres, and my boyfriend and I, we smashed out 8.5. So it was really good. He pushed me most of the way. It was at 9 o'clock at night along Elwood Beach, so it was freezing.
So you went in the wheelchair, did you?
Yeah. So it was fun. It was really exciting.
And there were, how many people were there, would you say?
Oh, to be honest, I can't really remember the number. It was thousands. There were thousands.
That's good.
So worldwide, we raised €4 million.
€4 million. Yeah. Wow. Gee.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about what's become of it, or any results? Have they come any further in finding any interesting research for spinal cord?
I think research in itself is still very much in the infancy. So there's so many things at the moment that could potentially be a cure for spinal cord injury. So I'm not sure exactly where research is at, but for myself, I focus on being physical, being active and healthy, so that when the cure does come along, it's only going to benefit it. So at the moment, even with stem cells, everything goes hand in hand with exercise and movement. So I focus on that right now, and know that it's only going to benefit a cure when it comes along, if it comes along.
So it's kind of like in your heart and mind, you're thinking, leave no stone unturned.
That's right.
I'll do my part, and when it comes, hopefully I'll be the ready candidate for it.
That's right.
Yeah, beautiful. I hope they do find something amazing. That would be amazing.
Oh, I think every person, I speak on behalf of everyone with this injury, but we all wait for that day. So, yeah.
The only thing is, some people listen, like some doctors say, oh, there's no cure, so don't worry. Maybe there'll be a cure one day and you'll be able to get it. Don't do anything, don't worry about it, wait for the cure. And then some people take it the wrong way. They just sort of sit there and don't do anything, and they think, oh, well, I'll do other aspects of my life and wait for the cure. But I think it's important to try and make the effort as well ourselves to get stronger with our legs. And
like I said in the last show, you can either sit and do nothing and be miserable and, just not have a fulfilling life, or you can get out there and you can try.
Yeah.
You can try, and for me it was about just doing exactly that, just trying. And I even know today, like when I have days where I'm not doing so much physically, like having a lazy day, which most people crave for, a lazy day in the hectic lifestyles that we all lead now. But on a lazy day, for me, it's like I feel miserable because I'm not you know, I'm not moving.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend says to me all the time, because I'm exhausted all the time, because chronic fatigue is part of this injury, and he says, you know, you just need to have a day where you're just doing nothing, and it's physically impossible for me to do nothing. I need to keep moving.
Ah, that's good. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Because I know what it's like to not be able to.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And so this Wings for Life, so people came in wheelchairs as well. Who were the people that came to run? Were the people that were running?
Yeah, so anyone was able to do it. So anyone in a chair, any able-bodied person. There was lots of celebrity athletes there this year. So Mick Fanning was down there, and you know, there was just some really incredible people getting involved, which is what we like to see. You know, it's the Australian spirit. I think everyone gets involved to help a cause. So,
And where was the run?
It started at Elwood Park, so we ran right along the beach.
Yeah. And that would have been quite cold.
It was freezing. In fact, they only got the permit for the run the Friday, like I think they said 9 a.m. on the Friday, and the run was on the Sunday night. So because the run was being held at night, it was the only race in, I think they said, Australia that's actually been run at night. So we had to wear high-vis vests, and we had to have like a torch light headband. So that was like the terms and conditions of running the race. So it was a lot of fun though. As freezing as it was, it took us it took me a good 2 weeks to recover from it, and it took, you know, my boyfriend, who used to be a rugby player, who hasn't been playing rugby for a few years, he went from doing no training leading up to it to running 8.5 kilometres. So it took him a good 2 weeks of hot baths and muscle soaks and everything to recover, but it was good fun.
And what's quite wonderful as well is you were the ambassador for it. So could you tell us how you got involved in that?
Yeah, so
or one of the ambassadors.
Yeah, one of there was 3 of us. So it was really fun because I was the female ambassador. So I think it's really good to be involved in something like that and be a woman, because I know for me, when I had my injury, confidence was a huge thing that, you know, I lacked, and it took a lot for me to regain. So to be able to be a spokesperson for such an incredible cause that is obviously close to my heart, given my own experiences, you know, to be able to get out there and be confident and run or wheel alongside all these people, you know, it was really exciting for me. And I got involved just purely with my advocacy that I do with spinal cord injuries. So
beautiful. We're about to go to a break now. You're watching Nat Chat. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich, and here you can see my daughter Nina, and our guest is Rhiannon Tracey, if you've just joined in. Welcome back to the program, Rhiannon.
Thank you.
So you've had this quadriplegic spinal cord injury called incomplete, and you're able to walk now with crutches every now and then, like when you're not so busy running around the wheelchair doing lots of things. Tell us a little bit about this spin chat you're involved in.
Sure. So I'm really honoured and privileged to be a part of Spin Chat, which is an initiative from Independence Australia and also TAC. So Spin Chat is a spinal cord injury prevention program that sees the speakers go and visit schools across Victoria and regional Victoria as well, sharing our stories in hopes of, you know, preventing further injuries from occurring, and also helping these kids and teenagers realise that they're not invincible and anything can happen, because like we know this injury doesn't discriminate, it can happen to anyone. And you know, it's really incredible how it doesn't matter where I've been to, what school I've been to, whether it's, you know, co-ed, male or female school, there's always a student that can relate in some way to what I've gone through in their own life. So it's not, you know, just about spinal cord injury prevention, it's about sharing your experiences to help overcome things that people could potentially be going through in their life. So
even other difficulties they might be going through, it
sure.
kind of affects them.
You know, I visit lots of VCE students that, you know, are going through their VCE, are very stressed out, some that don't know what they're going to do after they leave school, and hearing my story sometimes, you know, turns their perspective on life around, and makes them realise that they're actually more capable of doing what they believed in themselves initially as well. So it's a huge experience.
What do you actually talk about at Spin Chat? Can you give us an example of one of the segments you do? I know we only have like about 5 minutes to do it, but if you can just tell us.
Sure. So I share my life experience. I'm very honest in my Spin Chat. So, you know, I'm very kind of cutthroat. This is what happened to me before and after my accident. Given that I talk to students, I talk about my experiences at school. So the fact that I hated school, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I left school at 16, became a hairdresser because that's what a lot of my friends were doing. And then I realised that my capabilities were much greater than that. So I actually returned to study and became a veterinary nurse. So I talk about that. I talk about how I had my goals and aspirations all set for me, and then this happened, my injury happened, and it definitely threw a spanner in the works. So I talk about my progression and my transition being, you know, someone with a spinal cord injury transitioning into a businesswoman and growing up, I guess, and just my achievements, triumphs, things that I've overcome, where I'm at today with my life and how I got there. So very much going back to how I turned something negative into a positive, and I am living a fulfilling life and I'm happy. So that's the main thing. Happiness after this injury is something that unfortunately isn't something that everyone feels after sustaining an injury like this. So it's definitely about promoting the good things about life after the injury, but you know, sharing the bad in the hopes that it does prevent these injuries from occurring, because you know, the age bracket is between 15 and 24, which most spinal cord injuries occur, and that's the age where we feel like we're invincible and nothing can happen to us. So it's definitely about that early intervention. And I think if I have had a speaker, you know, like someone from the Spin Chat program visit me in high school, I think I definitely would have made some different decisions.
Wow. And do you get much feedback? Do you have like open conversation after you give your talk?
Definitely. That's my favourite part actually, after the presentation. So, you know, I get asked some pretty interesting questions, sometimes some daunting ones, but I am very, like I said, I'm open and upfront. I don't sugarcoat anything. You know, so it's really nice to hear how the students have related to my story, and they share with me, you know, kind of what bits grabbed them. And, you know, it's definitely interesting to see how people perceive the injury as well. Like I said earlier, this injury is not a what you see is what you get thing. So when they find out, you know, that I can't go to the bathroom on my own, it's like shock horror, you know. So it's fun. It's fun, and it's definitely something that keeps me going, because you feel the energy of the room. Like, I've spoken to hundreds of people, I've spoken to thousands of people, and I've been in a room with 8 people, you know, with Spin Chat, and it's different. You know, every talk is different, and I get something different out of it each time as well.
Right. But now you can go to a bathroom on your own?
Well, I still use catheters. I do intermittent catheters, so technically not on my own.
Oh, no, I thought you meant you had to go with someone physically.
Used to have to, but yes, on my own, but I do use catheters.
Yeah. So there's a lot of hidden things that people don't see with a spinal injury.
There's so many complications with this injury. It's so in-depth.
And do you know many other people that have had this spinal injury that you actually mix with now?
I've met some really incredible people since having my injury, and I'm very, very thankful for that. I've had, like a lot of people with a disability or with an injury, there are a lot of relationship breakdowns, there's lots of friendship breakdowns. Still can't pinpoint as to why. I think that a lot of people just can't, I don't know whether they can't handle having someone that, you know, is a little bit more high maintenance. I think I was more high maintenance before I had my accident than what I am now, to be honest. But, you know, I've met some people that will be a part of my life for the rest of my life, and I'm really thankful for that. And, you know, I think surrounding yourself with the positive people are what helps you get through life on a better note.
And how often do you do Spin Chat?
It varies severely, so I can have, you know, one once a month to one once a week. It just depends what time of year it is. So generally around the start of the year and the end of the year is the busiest. especially given that my injury happened in a swimming pool. So definitely around summer, I'm a big advocate for, safe swimming and water safety and things like that.
Yeah.
So generally around summer, I actually do a lot of primary schools and, talk to them about water safety and things like that. So yeah, it just varies, but it's, it's a casual thing, and it's nice to be able to go out and do something like that, that once again is helping people. So
right, so you talk with primary school and secondary school students. Wow, and that's pretty good. How long has that been going on for?
I think Spin Chat has been around for quite some time, but I've been involved in it for 3 years.
Beautiful. Well, about to go to a break. You're watching Nat Chat. Hope you're enjoying the program. We'll be back very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Rhiannon, and she's talking about her experience from overcoming spinal cord injury. She still has her injury, but she's able to walk with crutches now. Welcome back to the program. Now, you've gone on to start your own business called Next Step Recovery. Could you talk about that with us, what you went through to get that happening? And what it is.
So the Next Step Spinal Cord Injury Recovery Centre is my baby. It's my world. It's the whole place has been derived from my own experience after having this injury. So given that I was so young when I had the injury, the recovery outcome for me, as bad as it was, which was that I'd probably never get out of bed again, it was something that I just definitely didn't want to accept. So my family actually fundraised to fly me over, well, my mum and myself fly me over to San Diego to a recovery centre over there. And recovery from this injury can vary, like for me at the time, it was all about walking. That was my priority, that was my goal, it's what I needed to happen for me to be happy. And I've learnt down the track that recovery is just one thing that, is the light at the end of the tunnel for us all. But recovery can be broken down into so many little things that we take for granted. So, I went to this recovery centre that focused on the things that weren't moving, which was so different from, standard rehabilitation. They were focusing on what was already moving. And I wasn't treated as someone with a disability. I was literally treated as someone that was injured and needed to recover. So it was about moving the things that weren't already moving, training like an athlete, being able to take those first steps that kind of had the trickle effect and brought on so many other things. And I spent 6 months going back and forth to this facility, and what it did for me mentally as well as physically was huge. But something that I noticed, and I was seeing a lot of people noticing, was that it was actually lacking quite a lot of things. As great as this place was, it was about this place focused on, pushing you to the point of exhaustion. And unfortunately, the last time I visited the facility, I ended up in ICU because my whole body shut down, because it was just so exhausted and so sick of trying to do what it wasn't able to do at that time. So I ended up in the hospital over there in ICU, like I said, and I spent weeks over there. And when I came back to Australia, I'd been diagnosed with all these different things in the hospital over there, and MS, masses and tumours on the brain and things like that, just these ludicrous things. And my GP actually looked at the reports from the hospital and ripped them up and said, "You've got a spinal cord injury, that's what's wrong with you, and you're so determined that you're actually making yourself sick." Like, I was suffering with anxiety, all these things.
Wow.
So I decided to actually try some different recovery methods, and while I was in hospital, had massages and acupuncture. But what I had decided was to kind of leave the physical stuff, on the sideline for a little bit and focus more on my mental health and what I was eating, what fuel I was giving my body to be able to recover. So I was seeing naturopaths, I was seeing, active counsellors and motivational coaches and things like that. And that was the thing that was starting to really make a change for me. And I haven't been in hospital since 2012. And I've been, practicing this healthy lifestyle. And I've been able to pass this knowledge on to other people, and I've watched them, you know, get to be able to reach their goals. And so I decided to open a facility similar to the facility that I visited in the States, but actually embody whole body, you know, recovery and, you know, practice good health and well-being and, you know, actually educate the patient, educate the client to know that it's more than just pushing your body physically. It's a whole body program. It's very holistic, and I hate using the word holistic, but it's about eating the right food and fueling your body and being in a healthy mindset to be able to, you know, give it your all when you are training physically.
Absolutely. I mean, diet is really key.
Yeah, and you just don't realise how much until your internal organs are affected by something like a spinal cord injury that you actually realise you really are what you eat. And, you know, even going to the toilet is just, it's all about what you eat, you know. So it's amazing, and it's something that I think even able-bodied people should be educated further on, because we all want to live a healthy life and we want to be around for as long as we possibly can. But for people with this injury, it's about being able to, you know, have their body perform at its optimal best. And
so what is the structure there at Next Step?
So we have 3 different programs. We have a 3-month Fast Start program, which is like a transition from coming from the Royal Talbot to getting involved in an exercise recovery program. And that has the client have all the modalities. So they train for 2 hours 3 times a week. They see a motivational coach, they see a naturopath, they have massage and acupuncture, so that's the whole package. They have everything. And then they transition into more of a lifestyle program, which sees them come in still for their training but continue on with the alternative modalities as they see fit. And we also have a casual program. So the centre itself acts as a bit of a communal hub as well. So it's also a resource centre. It's also a support network for not just the individuals affected by the injury, but their families and their support networks as well, even their carers. So it's definitely like a hangout place for people with spinal cord injury. But it's definitely, you know, it's just kind of like the spinal cord injury oracle, I think. You know, it does incredible things for myself, being able to go there every day and see what it's doing for other people. And we're seeing complete paraplegics literally take their first steps.
Wow.
So it's amazing.
That's beautiful. And you started it yourself with your mum, didn't you? Or with them?
So it was a dream that my mum and I both had, obviously, because of my injury, but we were able to get our community and, you know, a lot of our support networks involved. We needed to, because it is a not-for-profit organisation, so we needed to fundraise to be able to open the door. So we've had some great support from some really amazing people, Rotary, you know, there's been so many people involved to get it to where it is today.
Wow. And how long has it been going for now?
So we've been open since March of last year, so just over a year.
Wow, beautiful. Well, we've run out of time for the program, but thank you so much for coming on the program. It's been lovely.
Thank you so much.
You've been watching Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich, and there's Nina Zoe Rich, and our guest was Rhiannon Tracey. I hope you enjoyed the program. See you again soon.